Alhamdulillah. Peace and blessings be upon everyone. This is the Caliph podcast. I am Khairul Solihin and we are on episode 009. My guest today is Ameer Al-Hakim, Managing Director of Al-Hakim Muslim Funeral Services. Ameer, welcome to the Caliph podcast.
Thank you very much.
How are you, brother?
I'm good, alhamdulillah, fine. Thank you for having me.
Alright, okay, so Muslim Funeral Services. Alright, so just maybe I want you to introduce more about yourself. What do you do, more in depth about what you do?
Right, of course my name is Ameer Al-Hakim. I've been inside these funeral services for 10 years. So I started back during my last year of my poly days, and then I'm not sure why, but you know, back then I was a nurse. I've been taking care of patients, and I do not know, I have this thing to really know about the death, how to take care of those after death. So what we do is that we manage funeral, so we get the body deceased back from hospital back home. Then of course we do the funeral rites according to the Muslim way, according to the Sharia way, which is to bathe the deceased, of course to do the kafan, then of course to do the prayers, then lastly of course to send the body to the Choa Chu Kang Muslim Cemetery for burial. So basically that's the whole process of Muslim funeral services, and of course we take care of their needs while they are grieving, and that's about it. Yeah, so that's how I started as a Muslim funeral service, or we call it the funeral director.
Okay, wow, okay. So before you started the company, tell me more about what you do during your nursing days back then.
Okay, before I started as a funeral director, we'll call it Undertaker. Okay, I'm a nurse in Tan Tock Seng Hospital, emergency department. It was only around 2 years into the line, and I've been learning while working. So meaning, while working, I was attached there, and I was working there, having a permanent night. So during the daytime, I will help my ustaz who manage funeral. So he will teach me. He will teach me.
So you already have the passion back then already during your nursing?
It's basically I attended a class. Okay, I attended a course by a mosque. Then I told them that this 1 month course is not enough. I say I want to gain some experience. So to gain some experience, I say I need to follow so-called internship, right? So I did ask the ustad, Ustad, can I just follow you, shadow you if there's any jenazah? So for almost 1 year, while I'm working as a nurse, so daytime as a funeral director, so-called funeral director, and nighttime working as a staff nurse or registered nurse back then. So yeah.
Okay, so what makes you, at that point of time, what makes you want to take up that course? You could have been doing so many other things.
Okay, it's a very good question. What makes me want to because this is quite it's not all youth actually love,
right, that's
this funeral director or funeral undertaker dealing with death. But there's one moment when my mom talked to me and said, and she asked me, if let's say one day she died, do you know what to do? You know, as in how you're gonna handle the jenazah, the body, how you're gonna, you know, be the imam for the salat. So back then, back then I thought I don't have this knowledge, so why not I you know, get a course, attend a course. But from there, it started to just, you know, bloom over then, and the passion started, and I'm not sure why. If you ask my family members, I'm very scared of those, you know, death and all. But this thing just changes me, yeah. And of course, to serve your parents at their last moment of their life and after their death, I mean, that's the last service that you can provide as a son to your father or to your mother. That's what makes me continue every day.
So you slowly pick up the passion while
slowly,
you are doing the internship.
So-called internship, yes.
Okay,
correct.
so but you are a full-time nurse, right?
Back then.
Back then, yeah. So
Back then.
2 years, right? You said.
2 years, correct.
Okay, so how's nursing like? Like, do you enjoy nursing or?
Okay, tell you the truth, I really miss nursing, miss working in a hospital, dealing with patients, taking care of them. But at the same time, what I do is that I still practice private nursing, meaning because in Singapore we need to get the license ongoing, so we need to practice nursing. If not, they will just revoke your license or just take your license away. So for that, I do still practice just to keep up with my skills. But to practice as a full-time nurse, to work in a hospital, dealing with full-time shift, no, I don't think that can really, I can't handle that work anymore. But come back to the same. But if you deal as a nurse, you deal with, of course, a person who is alive. The difference when you are dealing with this funeral, handling the funeral, is that they are not alive, but you treat them as though they are alive with dignity, with respect.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, you continue doing the internship. So how does your own company started?
Okay, how it started? Of course, after doing the internship or for 1 year, then my ustad told me that you so called able to start with the jenazah alone.
Oh.
Okay, back then I still need supervision. Okay, of course it's not easy to just handle everything alone. So just to share, one day he told me that come and bathe the jenazah. You will start. You're going to bathe the jenazah. Okay, so I came late. I thought my ustad will start first. Then when I reached his jenazah house, he was slowly taking out the things, the equipment. Then when I come into the kitchen, usually where we bathe the jenazah, he was like, the Undertaker is here to bathe the jenazah. So that was my first moment. 20-year-old guy had an accident with motorcycle. Then I start working for him. Stop not working, just giving some service as a funeral undertaker or funeral director. Then I work with other companies as a freelance, meaning any company who call me as first come first serve basis. So they call me, that this company call me, then I go, and then.
So you have few companies.
You work
for few companies freelancing.
Correct. So it's not attached to one. Yeah. So then after that, one day I just thought that, because I have principles in my life that how I'm going to provide as a service provider. My company prioritize ethics and etiquette, or we call it utamakan adab dan tertib, which I want that for my company. So if I'm working for people, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So one day I just we had a family discussion and say, why not you start your own family, your own funeral company?
Your family?
Not family, basically supported by family. Okay, so it's mine.
So it's your idea?
It's my idea.
Alright.
And of course, everything I do, I will actually discuss with family. I mean, especially your own parents, ask for blessings from them. Yeah. Then I started, and of course, I want to have my own funeral company that is so-called one of the lowest rate in Singapore. That because this is not about making money, it's about helping others. So that's the reason how how I started my business back then. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how it started. From slowly from doing freelance and everything, and then you just straightway start your company.
Yeah, correct.
When you started your company, like, how do your other companies that you freelance, deal with it at that point of time? Were they shocked, or were they like disappointed, or were they supportive?
Some are supportive. I can say that they actually helped me through. When you want to buy a van, you get this kind of van. Go to this steel shop to make the racking, the metal, the coffin, and all. But some don't even bother when I ask some help from them, that how to get this thing.
Yep.
How can I get this, or how to apply this permit on and that, this and that. Some don't even bother to actually help you. But I think this is just part and parcel of having competitors in this line of work. I think not only
they see you as a competitor.
Yeah, and and starting back then I was quite young, and to see that I can start my own company, and you know it's a competitor as a competitor to
What
them.
age were you back then?
I think back then I was 24
Oh,
when I started
24.
my own company. Yeah.
So you started from scratch.
I started from scratch. Yes.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
Of course, to start a company, anyone can start a company.
Yep.
I'm sure those who have company basically just need to register yourself in Accra. You have your ROC number. You are boss of a company. Okay. But yes, I do that. Then of course in funeral or urusan jenazah or funeral company, you need to have a van to be ready to serve the community. So back then I remember I bought a second-hand van. Okay, it was a Toyota Hiace. Left, I think almost 2 years left. Then I say it was 15,000, 1.5, and I said, how am I gonna get this big amount of money? Alhamdulillah, my mom actually helped to loan me rather than loan from a bank with the interest and all. So she actually loaned me, and I bought a van and searched up high and low for the company. Of course, when you deal with funeral, to make the coffin, especially to make the coffin itself, is not easy. Not all company, not all
Customized coffin, is it?
customized coffin, customized
Is it the
racking to
metal
put.
plate
Yes,
and
the metal
everything?
where you
Right,
put the
right.
coffin in, and to put the bathing tray inside,
Yeah.
and the stand. So not all company willing to do that. I mean, some very particular
Yes.
about something that something is so sway to do all these things. But alhamdulillah, I managed to find a company who willing to do. Then of course to do properly everything. Then of course you need to have the equipment for bathing kafan. We need to have the soap ready, the kafan, the cotton for shrouding the deceased. So all these are things that you need actually. But I think before starting a company, the utmost important I think is knowledge. Yeah, to even start in this line, to be inside this line, you need to be equipped with knowledge. Not just how you bathe the jenazah, how you simply, kafan, you do shrouding and all. It's not about that. It's about the Sharia way, the hukum, whether this is how is it been done, is it correct this way and all. All this you need to have that kind of knowledge before we actually go deep into this line of business or line of service. Yeah.
So at that point of time, you gather all the knowledge from internship and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So back then I went over to even to Malaysia to really get an ustad to really read about, to really study in depth about how to manage a funeral. Not managing a funeral, how to actually, when a deceased, you put on the bathing tray, how actually gonna start bathing the jenazah, why start from the head, why start from the hand, and how gonna actually press, to do the istinja, make sure that all the feces all come out from the anus and all. So all this need to be learned properly.
Right.
And of course we have ahkam janaiz, where we have those the hukum in dealing with jenazah. So is this okay or this is not okay? So I equip myself, I learn and until today, if I, let's say, manage to find an ustaz or sheikh or whoever can share with me more knowledge about this, I will go. Yeah, because I think every day is a new learning, new thing that we can learn while handling this or managing this funeral company.
What are the requirements to start a funeral company? Do you, is it like you said, knowledge and
Yeah.
stuff like that? Is it very important in terms of like certificates or anything else? Do you really need that, or?
Basically, of course, I would suggest for those who want to start a funeral company, ask yourself again, why do you want to start this company? It starts everything with intention. So when you start with intention, if your intention is to make money, I think it's not right. Yeah, because I don't call it a business. We call it's a line of service, a service that we give back to the community. When it's a service giving back to the community, you don't have that dollar sign over your head.
True.
Yeah. So the requirement is start with your good intention. What you're gonna do with this company. Yeah. And other than that, I think it's just to really learn about this line of work. Yeah, not simply
Okay, so
just we don't have any. Of course, there's no certification as for now.
Right.
But of course, it's good for you to actually attend courses,
Right.
for your own benefit.
Right.
Yeah, of course, you can come to us and we can learn on job training and all. But it's best for you to be equipped with some theory knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, so with what you said just now, it's you have to question your intentions, right?
Yep.
So with that, like, of all businesses, why this? So why are you inside this business?
Okay. So, So how it goes is that I finished my degree in medical health sciences. So there's a question there where my mother asked me, so you really want to become the Undertaker with the degree you attain, right? So then I say, so it makes me like, I do not know what to decide. So when I was working at nursing home, attending patient at the same time attending calls.
Okay.
So I thought, which one? I mean, I need to choose. So of course I do my istikhara and ask advice from my family members, and they say that if really this is the line of work that Allah has chosen for you, then go for it. So alhamdulillah, I resigned from there. Then I start to work as a full-time funeral director in the company, my own company.
So what other services do you provide other than just funeral services?
Okay, basically, of course, the main service is urusan jenazah or funeral services.
Yeah.
Other services, usually I will say that after the burial, I will tell the family members about the faraid, to give, divide the faraid, and of course to settle the debts, any debt that the deceased has. Okay, and of course if the deceased is not perform their hajj, to perform hajj, we call it badal haji. Okay, and we have that service also. Yeah, so, and of course we have other services where we link up with another company to actually do some claimant for insurance or for dependent protection scheme, where they can claim if, let's say, a person who pass on at the age between 21 to 60, if they are working, they can actually claim this amount of money when they pass on, because it's actually not known to everyone.
Right.
So I will actually tell them, and they okay with it, I will pass on to my another team where they will handle that. So these are the few things, but of course the main funeral service, it does take quite my most of my time. Yeah. For the sidelines, usually I just get them to do their badal haji for the deceased and all. That's it. Yeah.
So I'm sure there are like many other companies out there who are doing funeral services to Muslim, and there are also those who are the pioneers, right, stuff like that. So I want to ask you, how is your business different? How is your company different from the rest?
Okay, I do not dare to say different, but I think it's how you deal with the family members, how you actually talk to them, how you actually provide the service, how you actually bathe the deceased. Some have this method, so mine, I really emphasize on ethics, to really the adab. You must have that, cases like if, let's say, someone pass on in Woodlands, then they want to pray Jenazah prayer at a mosque in Tampines. Okay, some other companies will question why are you going to waste time, where you can just pray at the mosque near to the house. But for me, I will actually advocate to that and ask them, we can bring over to the Tampines mosque, because she said that the deceased teacher, the ustad is there teaching there, and and I will say do it, because if, let's say, you one day, if your mother to pass on, you want the best out of it. So I put myself into that shoe. Yeah, so every janazah, every funeral that I actually handle, I put myself as the son of the deceased.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and you're gonna do it properly. Yeah, so I'm not sure whether that's different, but that's how I put as a most important priority in my company.
I'm sure it's different because you put an extra mile to just cater to your customers, because they are in grief and stuff like that, right? But do you think you doing internship with so many different companies before, it has shed some light, or you learn here and there about the the downside of the company, so with that you understand that okay, they are lacking of this, lacking of that. Do you think it helps you to
Yeah,
where you are now?
so who actually asked me to go over to different companies and experience all this is actually my ustaz. So he told me that go this company, go that company. Of course, if you see any shortcoming from the company, you just keep quiet.
Keep to yourself. Yeah.
Keep to yourself. And secondly, if let's say you see any good about them, take it and apply to your future funeral. So that's what I did actually. So alhamdulillah, it does help. So I've been a few companies and I took whatever good from them.
Yep.
Yeah, I think every company have a good point or good technique or a service. Yeah. So not all companies really bad. Then So that's it.
Yeah. So you're in this business for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. Okay. Maybe you can share with me your worst failures building up this company.
Worst failures.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't put this as failure. Like what I've mentioned to you that this is not a business. So if it's a business, everything will be money on top of your head. So how can I say it's a failure if someone running a business will start to question, oh, why this month only 5 funeral? Why this month only 1 funeral? So you start to question and question and question. Whereas I look it at a different point of view where this is what Allah has chosen, and rezeki is what Allah has prepared for us. We don't want to question that. So I don't call it as a failure. So, but of course on our side, you need to have the usaha to actually do the marketing properly, to show that you exist. Yeah, not just everything to Allah then you just keep quiet. No. Yeah. So other than that, we just let Allah do the rest.
Okay. What's your future plans for the business?
Future plan. Of course, this is a bit not realistic, but I think.
Why is it not realistic?
Because okay, if you've been to Mecca, Madinah, all the funeral, all the deceased cost is handled by someone who is a wealthy person who's gonna pay everything. So I mean, it's not realistic in Singapore. I would like to try to do that one day. Who knows? That every deceased, every funeral in Singapore can be handled by my company or by whoever, that is free.
Okay.
Yeah, but
so in a way, so you're trying to say is that maybe a wealthy person who just wants to do a charity
a wealthy
work,
person,
like
or maybe myself, who can actually attain to that point of life later in point of life, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But that's one of my aim in life.
Okay.
But other than that, I think what I'm doing right now, alhamdulillah, is okay, and only that I'm hoping for more of the younger generation to actually come aboard with come and join to become a funeral director. Apart from them, I need with those knowledgeable people so that can come and actually provide this kind of service to the community that which we need, because the older generation starting to slowly they are getting older and sick, and we need the younger generation to actually replace them. That's my aim in the future, inshallah.
Because the market is very competitive. There are so many competitors out there, right? how are you planning to scale your business? Is it, yeah.
Okay, like what I mentioned, of course I'll try to do my own marketing, okay, how to market my own company, to put on Facebook, social media, in Instagram, I no more, I don't, and websites, right? So I don't really look at to upscale my business, as in to really make sure my company is known and only known in Singapore for the. I mean, that's the only company that can arrange the funeral. No, basically, who wants to call my company, who really experienced with any funeral with me, my company. That's about it. I don't want to really upscale that much, and it's tanggungjawab, or it's a responsibility that is not easy to handle actually.
Alright.
Yeah.
How does one deal with death overseas and they wanting to bring it back home?
Okay. It's a bit complicated, of course, when you want to compare local case where someone passed away in Singapore. First and foremost, when they call, when they are in overseas, first advice is to advise them if they are okay to do their burial there. Why? Because the cost is not cheap to bring back the body back home. Okay. If let's say, I'm just sharing with you the cost to bring back a body from Batam, okay, in Indonesia, the nearest, to rent a speedboat, to charter a speedboat, it costs you around almost $5,000. That's just renting of the speedboat and documents.
Yeah.
You haven't plus the funeral services. So I would suggest them to actually do the burial there. But of course, most of them will say, I want to bring back. So we see case by case. If death occurs in Malaysia, usually we as a funeral company that from Singapore will actually drive into Malaysia, where it be in KL or in Pahang, wherever, okay, to the hospital where the body at, and we're gonna bring back the body by land. Okay, so that kind of case is quite straightforward, where when we reach there, we handle the paperwork. And we have a representative in Malaysia who will handle the paperwork, the documents, to actually allow the body to pass through the immigrations and all. So if let's say someone pass on, if let's say in China, I did once in China, China do not allow any foreigner to be buried there.
Okay.
So we need to bring back the body. So what you do is that first get the Undertaker or funeral company over in China. If you cannot manage to do anything, please give a call to the MFA, which is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where you will tell them that there's a Singaporean who has passed on in China or wherever. Then they will help you accordingly, okay? And we in Singapore will be waiting for the documents for us to bring to get the permit to import the body from wherever, China or wherever, to Singapore. And there are cases I've actually handled where, if you can remember, a couple who just got married, then went to New Zealand for their honeymoon and had an accident, and both of them actually passed on. So over there, we can't really find a proper Muslim funeral company. So the least that I can do was to actually tell them to get any other funeral company. Of course, it's a non-Muslim or other belief. Basically, to just help with the documentations. Okay, not to do anything with the body. Okay, basically they will just cover the body and put into a coffin to fly back to Singapore. Once the body reach Singapore, arrive in Singapore, we will handle the Jenazah, and we'll take the body and we do the bathing, kafan and all accordingly. It's a bit tedious, so different country have different protocol. Okay, back then when I was helping with Jenazah from China, it took 7 days to bring back the body to Singapore. So it's not an easy
Wow.
task.
Yeah.
And when you receive documents from China, and it's all in Chinese. Okay, so you need to go to the legal translator who can actually translate and if
Yeah.
they endorse and all. So it's not easy. These are the few challenges, and basically, if family do not know anything, give a call to the funeral company. They will advise you. Then, if let's say you really do not know what to do, you can give a call to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, and you need to consider the cost.
Yeah.
To bring back a body is not cheap. Yeah, by flight, people thought I go to Australia $400, the ticket economy class. I think it's around there lah for a body. No, they gonna weigh you per kilo. So they're gonna put you the body with the coffin in the coffin, and we're gonna put the coffin in the cargo area.
It's
And
a cargo plane, huh?
Yes, a cargo. No, it's not a cargo plane. Those normal commercial flight.
Okay.
Yes, you might never know. There's some.
Really?
Yes. So they're gonna put. Let's say you fly with Etihad Airlines.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
suddenly there's a body inside. You also do not know.
Seriously? Wow. Okay.
Seriously. So that's then they will actually weigh for one. I did once with Qatar Airways, which is it costs $35 per kg. If someone is really big, plus the coffin weight, 150, 100. If the person weighs 100 kg in total, plus $35, that would be the total amount for just the ticket.
Right.
It's not with the documents, add on. It goes up to 7,000, 8,000, yeah, minimum. Yeah, so of course, try if let's say with that amount of money, you can, get the family members to fly there. Why not?
Yeah.
Right. Rather than someone and a deceased who actually need to bring back to Singapore or Singapore to other country, the body need to be embalmed. Embalmed, where the process of draining out blood from the body and putting a chemical to prevent the body from decompose, to prevent the body from becoming decomposed. So that, of course, if you can prevent from doing that, then do the burial there. Yeah, that's the best. But I'm sure a lot of people wants to see physical, kubur or grave, and we can see and visit in Singapore. So, yeah.
Alright. We all know that funeral service is 24 hours.
Yep.
Right. How do you manage that? How do you live your life around that 24 hours? Always be active. Like, do you have to always to be there?
Okay. 24 hours, yes, you need to be. Some asked me, when are you gonna take your leave from work? No, I'm 24 hours working. I don't need to apply any leave, all that. Okay. What we do is that just to share 24 hours life in a funeral company, funeral director life, is that so basically in the morning you have a funeral. They call you at night. So we handle Jenazah, the funeral. It lasted until 10, 11. And you have a second call. Then after Zohor, and then after you'll be done. I think after Asar. Sometimes when you are going back home, about to reach your house, and you're in your back end, you'll say, I'm gonna bathe, then I'm gonna have my dinner and just rest. There's another call coming in saying that my father just passed on in this hospital. So usually we give the family members 1 to 2 hours time to actually for us to reach there. Okay, so upon reaching at the hospital, while waiting for the body to come down to the mortuary, we're gonna receive the body from the mortuary. Sometimes there's another call. Okay, so when there's another call, I say okay, I'll be there at this timing. So once you send this body back home, so you attend to another call. Okay, then you go to another hospital. Back then, when I was working alone, so after sending back the body to the you go to the back home, then I went over to another call. Then come in another call. Then you can't do anything because it's quite late and the body, we just reached at that particular hospital. Another call came in, so you need to activate another van to actually bring back the body.
What's your record in a day you ever done before back then? How many janazahs have you done
Okay,
in a day?
frankly, I've never sleep for almost 2 days.
And how
before.
many janazahs are there?
That I think maybe
Back to back.
back to back. There's one day I had 5 janazah in a day, then the other day two or three janazah.
Wow.
So back to back, yeah. So it's quite my my sleeping hours is all
Yeah.
chaotic and haywire. So you ask me at 1 o'clock, I'm still alert and fresh.
Yeah.
I will start, I will start to be very sleepy almost around 4 a.m. Then if you sleep after subuh, you receive another call, you need to go out. Yeah, so that's
But
how.
alhamdulillah, now you have workers.
I have workers, alhamdulillah. But they're gonna do the funeral, and of course I need to supervise and then come by to visit the families, and of course if there's the need of my my help to actually come and help and bathe the janazah, I will come by to help. Yeah. Other than that, I will basically supervise and see the family, what do they need, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so other than your funeral business, right? What have you invested your time and energy on?
Okay. Other than funeral service, alhamdulillah, I do conduct courses, Jenazah management courses, or we call it Jenazah management workshop. Basically, I conduct as when masjid or when the madrasah invite me to conduct for those young teens alive program and all.
Yeah.
So when other private organisation, private schools who invited me or myself who conduct these courses. So I invested on these courses. Why? Because I think it's very important that I need to share this knowledge of managing a janazah. Okay, because if let's say I'm just sharing with you, if let's say your mother or your own father was passed on, okay, are you willing? Okay, your mother has been taking care of you since small until you are who you are right now. Okay, when she passed away, when she died, the first person who handled the janazah it will be some stranger. Are you willing to actually see that? I think for me, no. I think the children, the son or the daughters will actually be the first person to be there to actually clean the janazah, make sure the janazah placed properly, make sure that the aurat, the hijab put on for the mother, for the ladies deceased, make sure the janazah is facing the qiblat properly. So if you do not know how to do, then you need to attend to this kind of courses.
So
And
you
of
feel
course,
that people should at least
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's fardu kifayah, meaning it's not wajib to learn everything, but I think the minimum you need to know that when death occurs at home, you know what to do. Yeah, because I've encountered a janazah. This family called me after Maghrib.
Okay.
Okay, it's at night. So it's at home. The deceased is at home. So usually we don't come. We just advise them what to do. And so the next day I came at around 8 a.m. to bathe the janazah. So I entered the house like, you don't feel that there's a person who just passed on. Or, when someone who died, the chairs will be brought out. They're gonna put the tika, they set up everything properly. So I don't feel that. I feel like okay, still no, okay, right. So then after that I entered and I saw someone lying down on the bed. This person is wearing was wearing short and singlet. So I go into the kitchen where we're gonna bathe the janazah, prepare everything. So then I asked, where's the deceased? And he bring me to the room where I first entered and saw that person. The janazah is not even covered with kain or a cloth or batik. Okay, so I think some people don't even know about what to do when death occurs. And secondly, people need to equip with this knowledge, especially when during your janazah prayers. If let's say your mother who's passed on, so the best to be the imam will be the son. Correct. Because in hadith it mentioned about the son waladun salih yad'ulah, which is the son who makes the son the salih, the pious son who makes dua will straight go to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala.
Yep.
So in the year of in a year, when I manage a funeral, I can actually count how many son who are able or wanting to become the imam of the janazah prayers. I think it's quite sad.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not that difficult, right? Just imagine if, let's say, you as a son become the imam and making the dua, ask Allah to forgive your mother, coming out from your heart, and Allah will forgive your mother, right? You know, rather than me doing the dua, it's best for you as a son to make the dua, oh Allah maghfirlah, oh Allah forgive her. Coming out from your heart, and really you make sure that you're crying making the dua. I'm sure Allah Ta'ala will actually kabul or accept the dua of the son. So that's where during the courses I actually put it as a very important note to them that if, let's say, your mother or your father to pass on one day, be the one standing in front, be the one to help, be the one to be in the kubur to receive the body and put nicely in the grave. That's your last service, your last khidmat as a son to your mother or your father. Yeah.
Have you ever came across a janazah where their son or their daughter knows, like they have the knowledge and they have the knowledge to also clean the janazah and everything? Do you just come and just let them do it, or you still take over, like how?
Okay, if let's say they know how to do it, I will just ask them first, are they confident to actually do the whole process of bathing the janazah? If let's say they are confident enough, then I'll be there to just supervise.
Okay.
Which I'm more than happy to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, because subhanallah, if you see someone, a daughter or a son bathing your father, a son bathing the father, or a daughter bathing her mother, it's a very beautiful scene, I would say.
It's very rare, of course.
And it's very rare.
Yeah.
When you just lift up your mother's hand and making dua, oh Allah, forgive her. This hand is been, helping to change me when I was so small. Petting, putting me to sleep with this hand, carrying me here and there. It's a very beautiful thing to see, which I think it's rare. But I'm sure there are cases where we have these children who really wants to handle everything. Yeah, we are there to just advocate or to just supervise and see whether they do it correctly or not. Yeah.
Just a quick question. Do you give discounts to these people?
No.
Since they are doing everything for you.
No, that's not. I don't call it discount. I'm not sure. Because I'm okay. To tell you the truth, I never seen any.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to give discount, I also do not know how. Whether to give discount or not. Okay, because I never experienced myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually I heard these stories happen in Malaysia where those whole family are ustad and then after that they gonna bathe their own mother. Everyone do themselves and all. Yeah. But I never experienced that in Singapore, so I do not know whether to give any discount or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay. So just more of personal questions now. Who's your best teacher or mentor and why?
Okay. There are three group of people. First and foremost, it will be your parents. Okay. They are the best teachers. They have been your teachers since you are small. Okay. Anything for me, any advice or anything that I need, I will ask them. Firstly, to get their blessings, because we know that ridha Allah fi ridha walidain, pleasure of Allah is upon pleasure of their parents. So if they are happy with what they are doing, I'm sure Allah will be pleased with us, and because of that, I'll go to them first. Secondly, it will be my ustaz, my shaykh, my teachers, even any other teachers, where I do ask them for advice. If, like, say, involved in making decision, what's advice, and I will just compare with my parents' advice and all. And thirdly, the people surrounding me, everyone. Sometimes you are too busy with your routine, your daily routine, and sometimes you have your chill session with your friends. we call it lepak session with friends. Sometimes when we sit down, we talk to them, and sometimes they will just say things that it's like wow,
hit that spot.
hit that spot, and hit into your face.
Yeah.
Okay? Then after that, it's something wisdom from them,
Yeah.
and I think they are my teachers too.
True.
Yeah. So I guess these are people I look up to and take everything good out of them. Yeah.
What's the worst advice you ever received or hear dispensed in your world?
Okay, what's advice? Can survive, meh? Become tukang mandi only. What for go study? This kind of question here. What for you go study until degree, then you become a funeral director, undertaker, where do not need any certification. These are things that people question me, and I really want to put how to change the stigma in this, where funeral directors are not those jobs that is like the last resort, meaning there's you cannot find this work, you're not accepted at this firm or company or whatever, so last resort they turn into funeral company because they don't need any certification. So I do not want that. So I'll make sure I will give advice to the younger people who wants to join the company to be in this line of service. Equip yourself with knowledge. Yeah, I'm sure anything in this world we need knowledge. So I will tell them that at least go and study, finish your study. Then if Allah really choose you to be in this path, then you're gonna go on in this path. If not, don't do it for the sake of just no other works, so easy work, just with people like that. No, I don't trust, I don't believe in that. Yeah.
Okay, next question will be how does being in this line change your life, and how does it affect the people around you?
How it changes my life? You tend to appreciate more.
Define that. Elaborate.
You see death every day.
What is it like to face death every day?
It's if you go into their circle, you'll be emotionally disturbed. But I try not to be in their circle. Don't try to be in their emotional circle. You just imagine a mother who just died, and the son and daughter crying on the bed, and that really hit hard. You're gonna hit yourself very hard. So try to avoid that kind of emotional. Of course, in the beginning, it's not easy, but I try to learn and try to cope. So what I've learned throughout years of managing or giving this, rendering this service, is that appreciate the people around you, where they are still alive. Appreciate them, and by appreciate them is appreciate your parents. I mean, they're the biggest blessing in this world. They are the biggest. I think 90% is their prayers. 10% is our hard work to make us who we are right now. So for me, to really appreciate the people around you, especially your parents, when they are still alive, be with them, give whatever they want, And to the people around you, as a friend, you appreciate your friendship. You don't start to quarrel over small little things, argue over small little things, forgive and forget. So I think that really changed myself, and of course, people around me see that. Alhamdulillah, they come back to me and be a person, a source they can ask question.
Wow.
Yeah, where my mother is in a critical stage, so what should I do
To get ready and
to get ready? What should I actually teach her to make sure she pass away in a very beautiful death? What should I do as a son or as a daughter? This kind of advice that I think they come back to me as to just seek questions, inquiries, and all, which I think, alhamdulillah, which more than happy to help. And I'm sure back then as a nurse, they asked me question about medical, this medication is for what, you know. So alhamdulillah, now it changes the question. Yeah, alhamdulillah.
I want to squeeze this question. Is it true that as a ustad or as a person who is doing all this funeral service and stuff like that, right? Is it true that you will get to see all those kind of what they call the aib and stuff like that, things happening? I don't want you to share any stories. I know it's their aib, but is it true that you will get to see this kind of I don't know what is it called? Supernatural thingy, or like you can see like, you know, oh, because of this, you know, because there's shows, right, out there who say, oh, because this guy never did this before, that before, so that's why he's going through that, but only certain people can see. Is it true? Do you see it, or you witness it, or?
Okay. I think is that the question you ask is that we see Facebook start to post, if let's say this person died in this way, you experience that this body is like this, you know, it's heavy, so many feces and all, blah blah blah. Alhamdulillah, Allah will always protect you. Okay, whatever you see, you take it as it's just a normal thing. You don't want to put back in your mind that, oh, this person is practicing some black magic. No. Okay, we need to have good opinion of the deceased. Okay, and we don't if I were to answer back, there's one question where the status where they put the disease is a lot of feces and all. We need to relate back to science, so even because when someone has a lot of feces, those thin bodies, you know, when we do the istinja, we press the intestine, then there's a lot of, you know, feces coming out. That's the reason, not because of you. This person jump down from kill or murder or commit suicide. Then after that, you have this. No. Okay, so it's all gonna relate back to science. So I don't see any, except that once this person told me that before bathing the Jenazah, they asked me to take the bamboo pole to actually hit the Jenazah first beforehand. They say the Jenazah have polong, you know what's polong, the jinn polong, I do not know what. But I don't do that. I'll just do the normal according to Sharia.
Everything was okay.
Alhamdulillah, everything was fine. I won't want to do it as what they say because it's not the proper Sharia way. Yes, yeah. So whatever you see is the aib for the Jenazah. Anything between the four walls after you come out from the bathing of the Jenazah, don't ever say to anyone. But if let's say you see anything good, share with them. Let's say when you're bathing the Jenazah, you see the Jenazah is in a smiling face, with a smile on the face. Share with people. Subhanallah. Maybe at the last moment of his or her life, she was smiling, to meet Allah, also happy to meet Allah. Share that with people and make this as a goal to achieve in your life when you want to die that way, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. What's your definition of a great leader?
Very good question. Great leader. I don't see myself as a great leader, but I do learn throughout years leading a company. So, a great leader is those that you going or running the business together with the person. Meaning, even though the person is your worker, you don't just leave your worker to do by themselves, and you are there for them and advocate them and always be there, and where they can come to you and share problems with you. I think that's a great leader to me in this line of work. Not to just once you don't have a job and just leave them by themselves and that's it. No, I think
to be present and
to be
guide
present
them.
and guide them. I think that's the most important, and to really understand them as people working under you, what they need, what they expect, what their needs. I think it's very important to address that, which they will see that you are someone that I can work with you for a long time. I think that's very important. Yeah.
Right. So we come to the end of this
Alhamdulillah.
podcast.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. And any last parting words that you wanna say?
Last parting words. Let me see. As a funeral director dealing with death every day, I see many children, many sons, many daughters start to regret after your mother die or your father die. So I think what I can say or I can advise is that give back to them, be there for them, and whatever they want, you don't ask, just give. Wherever they want to go, send them. And inshallah, you won't regret once they close their eyes. You'll be smiling that I've done enough. Of course, you know that it's not enough, but alhamdulillah, I did my best. And hopefully that they will be happy having you as a son or daughter. You know, for them, parents to have a child, a son and a daughter in their life, it's a responsibility where Allah Ta'ala give you. And when it's a responsibility, they need to educate you, the parents need to educate you and all. And once you are big, I know you get married and all, but many of time, people start to forget them once we have families, you know, and it's very sad. Be there, just be there for them. And even though you are married, you have children, you know, why Allah said in the Quran, don't say things that even oof to them. And that particular ayat mentioned that when they turn old, don't say oof to them, don't say whatever to them. Why he mentioned old? Because when they start to get old, we have our own family, they are not our utmost priority in our life anymore, and we tend to forget them. So I advise, don't forget them. They once helped you or bring you or brought you up with hard work, hardship, and I think the least they can do, be there for them until their time is up, inshallah.
Wow, beautiful, man. That really hit me. Okay, I really want to thank you. It's been very tough to get this interview with you because you are so busy.
And it's not early.
Yeah, so I just want to thank you for this, and I really wish all the best for your business and the rest.
Thank you for
especially
inviting.
for your studies and so.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah.
Yeah,
Thank you so
inshallah.
much.